when you look at yourself, is then you looking up. Like,
What?
Well, to the Hubble Land Bible
when
Study.
you look at yourself, to
Naheem, he's going to be leading the Bible study.
Oh, no, I know
That's all you
more.
wrote.
so
Beginning, God created the heavens and the earth was without form and void. Tag, you're it.
we have to go to Corinthians.
Yeah. Corinthians what?
Corinthians 10.
10, what you got?
Let me see what I got.
Let's see what you
Hey,
got.
I'm here to go.
So, yeah.
You say that one more
Did you
time.
forgive me?
No, because you said see you.
Oh, no, I mean, say anything about I'll keep my drink. I'm sorry. I'll keep.
I said I ain't been on. She's still
I'm
laughing.
saying, I be drunk in the Lord.
Yeah.
That's
you
not
not
what
be
you
drunk
know
in
what we're
wine.
talking about. So
No. But he was just saying, yeah, it's okay to get drunk with Jesus.
Woo!
Get drunk, just think about it.
No, but I gotta take it over. I don't know what that.
The 1 Corinthians 10. I got you, bro.
The first Corinthians 10 is when he talks about, he talks to the church about thinking, and I didn't read the whole thing, so.
So whatever verses you start with.
I can't wait for her. I'm sorry.
Bless you. Good to see you.
Tell Mary I say I'll talk to her. I'll call her.
Thank you for cleaning.
Just tell Mary I'll call her. Okay?
Okay. Lord. Moving.
Yeah, my wife.
You want to, while we're, you want to flip over to 1 Corinthians 10. That's where Naheem is at. And later we'll be going to 1 Corinthians 13, get this thing started off. Take your time. Or just wherever you're from.
Okay, so this is kind of where I was at. So, I put me on the spot. So, all right. So, over the weekend, I talked to my guys, and I was at somewhere in my mind, like, you know, how the enemy want to come in and attack, and how we come in and attack is because the point of us just thinking on our own, and us, you know, and so when us thinking, it comes to, you know, different things that we could do, or, you know, we want to do this way, we want to do that way, and God just wants us to listen to Him. So I've been reading 1 Corinthians, and, you know, like 1 Corinthians 10 verse 8 says, "No let us act immorally, as some of them did. 23,000 fell in one day." So when we think, we act, you know, when we think, that's when we start thinking about different things that we could do. So we act immorally, and like you said, 23,000 of them fell at one time. So the enemy comes in when we start thinking, when we start acting immorally, we start doing things that we want to do. And that's what he wants us at. And so I guess I was kind of on something like, I have a kid, I have a son, you know, I have a son and I have a daughter. And I want my daughter to think the right way. I want my daughter to think, you know, do the right things and think the right way. And that's how God wants us to think. Like we want our kids to think. So vice versa, God wants us to think. God's saying, hey, don't think your way, think my way. As I tell my kids, don't think your way, because you're just a child. Think my way, because I'm a dope and I want the most for you. I want the best for you. So I was in Corinthians and I was just reading that, and Paul tells the church somewhere in here, don't think on your own accord, think on God's accord. Think as, don't, I can't find the word, don't think as you, but think as God allowed you to think. And so I was there with myself, like, and so I was saying, what's happening, man? I was saying, and I was reading it, that so if we think as God accord, and it's like, how will we know if we're thinking as God is thinking for us, And so, like, because we connected, so how will we know these things? And so, if you start thinking, like, on God accord, just let Him think for you, then He would think for you, you would speak it out, and then we'll be in love, and it will be in truth. So then you will know that this is God. And so, because you know that if it comes in and I'm speaking, I want to chill and hang out and go, do some dumb stuff, then you know that's not Him. And so we get caught up in a group that we're in, and we start thinking all at one accord, all on our own, and so, we get messed up and we start, doing drugs together, and then we get trapped in this thinking that, I need to do this, I need to find out. And so when we all thinking the same accord, like, hey, let's chill, let's get wasted all the time, or let's get, let's not do things with God. And then when we come to the bottom of it, and we're like, God, I want you in my life because I know that what I'm doing is not right. As if, how can I come back there? And that's when you stop thinking for yourself, when you stop thinking and saying that this is what I'm going to do, this is what I need to do, and sit back and let God come in. And when He come in, then you start speaking, and then you start speaking with God. So it would be like, man, I don't want to drink no more. And then you sit down with God, and God is telling you, hey, listen, you might have to let go of Timothy. Or you might got to stop chilling out with Tom for a little bit. And so if it's in love and it's understanding, then it's God speaking through you, through His thinking, and then you do, and then you just keep on doing it. So the way to do it is, I guess, you got to stop for a second and be with Him. So that's why I've been at this week, and that's what I just want to say is that if we stop and start thinking and start just being with Him, because there's a lot of things we can think of, what happened in the Old Testament, or what happened in John, or what happened in the Bible, or is this true and that true? I read this and I read that, and it kind of contradicts itself. So I'm feeling this type way. And if you just let go, and you already gotta be, you just gotta be still, and ask Him and say, "Hey, I'm here." Oh, you already know you're there. If you just be still with yourself and be with Him, then you will speak it. You will speak these words that's of Him without even knowing them.
My grace is sufficient.
My grace is sufficient for you.
That's empowerment. Empowers you. It says, my empowerment is enough. When you spend time with Him, I've heard people say, it's whenever you bring a problem to Him, He is the solution. Whenever you spend time with Him, He is the solution. Whatever you need, pass the word.
Yeah, so
good word, man.
That's where I was at this week.
I was going to say, think on things that are pure, honest, just, lovely, good report. If there be any virtue, or if there be anything, think of these things. And you have the mind of Christ and the mind of the Spirit. That's a great thing because we have this available to us,
Yep.
That's a good word there. Pastor Naheem. It means shepherd. It means one that leads those. And, you know, that's what you do, man. It's just want to acknowledge that man's like calling. Blessing and increase. Father, we just thank you for this time. We thank you for when the humans share. We just invite you more and more. Your evident presence increase more and more. We just thank you for those who will come and listen and everyone that he interacts with. Just grace, power, and grace wanting to see and do your will, to say the words that he's saying, that you wanted to say, the things that you needed to say, for the blessing of the roast. In Jesus' name. Bless those all those who are here. So if you would turn to 1 Corinthians chapter 13. 1 Corinthians chapter 13. You're more welcome to stay if you want to with those cool Jordans. Man, what about Atlanta, man? Got too many injuries, man. They would have held up better last night. It's all good. Atlanta Hawks, they went further than any other years as far as Atlanta Hawks ever got. Oh, you got it?
So 10-12, what was that?
How much you got? Read it.
I can't believe this.
It's too small.
Too small. 10, 12. 10 for 12.
God, my.
I see it.
I think y'all tricked me. I think you ain't coming.
She said she'd come. Well,
If she don't come, I'm not coming first. Never again.
She told me she would come. And if something happened, I don't know.
If she don't come, I'm never coming.
She said she would come.
I ain't.
I heard you. She don't come. You.
No, did she say she would come for me? I ain't.
If you just came for her, then kind of want to talk to yourself a little bit. Now, these things happen to
I can't talk to myself. I can say something else too.
They were written for our instructions upon whom the end of the age has came. Therefore, let him thinks he still takes heed that he does not fall. So let him think. Don't know. That's not what I read. So, is that what I was reading?
Sensual. I don't want you to read that.
Yeah. So let him think he stands, take heed. So if he thinks it, let him take heed, let him fall back. And so if you're thinking that you're gonna do all this, and you're in your own thoughts, then take heed. All right. So it says, take heed that he does not fall. So if you're thinking, you might fall, but if you're thinking of him, if you let him think for you, then you will not fall. So that's what I was trying to say.
Good, man. Yeah, he's with you, man. Wherever you go, student can be called with you. Yeah, that you're a son, a daughter of God.
I told somebody I was just speaking. I was just speaking, and I was in a conversation with a whole bunch of people, right? I was Catholics. I was with this Catholic person. They go to Catholic church. And I was with this spiritual girl, and she's all tree spirit, and she's reading these things about spirit, about Jesus, and all things. And so they had different conversations. And so they asked me, the girl asked me, she didn't know, she was like, so what is this three? Like, how is it the Son, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit? And it came to me, and I told her, when Jesus died, he died for our sins, and he left us his Holy Spirit. So this Holy Spirit is like a chain connected to God. So we always connected to him. So it's kind of like a puppet. So if you fall, he just yanks us back up. Right? Through the Holy Spirit.
Yeah. We're always connected. Never leave you, nor forsake you.
You never leave us.
But then he left. But he's only getting it all the Ghost.
So I'll be giving you this. And so that's connected to us. And so they was like, so what happened before him? And I was like, we didn't have that. We didn't have that connection. We had to build that connection with God because we was corrupt. And so he gave us his sacrifice, the ultimate sacrifice. The ultimate sacrifice, but no other sacrifice would go beyond this sacrifice, so the sacrifices would stop now and cease to exist because he sacrificed his own for us.
Good word. That's right. That's right.
So I told
That's
the girl
That's right.
that, so what he left us was the freedom to always be connected to Father.
Yeah.
And before
That's
Jesus came, he wasn't connected to the Father. And so now he left us with just the connection to the Father. So we're always connected. So when we do crazy things, it's always a part of us that knows it's wrong. It's always a part of us, and that's why we cry. When we Trump is all get out and we did something crazy, and we're like, why did they do that? Oh, that's just that what he left us in us is pleading out, saying, go to him. Go to the Father. Inside of us, we don't know if we're just crying. No, we gotta do this upstairs. Because we know that this is not how we're supposed to live.
That's good. God is love, right?
And God is love.
And so the Holy Spirit connects you to love.
Yeah.
Love. Oh man, we have Bible study.
She took the man. The opposite got it
My
right.
head's still killing. I like the food.
Oh, congratulations. Look at you. I'm a sinner. Congratulations. That's awesome. Yeah. You wanna turn to 1 Corinthians 13? We're just tying it into God's love. Tying it into God's
Oh,
love.
I know that.
1 Corinthians 13. So start in verse 1. Bethany, are you in a place where you could maybe read, or I don't mind reading, or?
Yep.
If not, okay. You don't have to throw anything. It's okay.
I'm not throwing anything. iPad.
Oh, okay. It's just crazy noises on this side. Just make sure you're all right. I'll read the first couple, and then you read after that, if that's okay. You want to do that?
Yep.
All right. 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 1. This is Paul speaking to the church in Corinth, or otherwise called the Corinthians, those that were from Corinth, like we're from Atlanta. They'd call us the Atlanteans. So it'd be like somebody sending us a message.
And Mary.
Atlanteans.
Georgian?
Georgian's better.
She's the one that put me to the Corinthians of what I was speaking. She's like that.
Mary did?
Yeah. And so she told me that the Corinthians was a city.
Yeah.
And there was a city of abundance, of trade, of churches, of slavery, of prostitution, of misunderstanding. And so it was just like the modern day city of Atlanta right now.
Yeah. So it'd be called like Atlanteans.
Yeah, so what he was speaking, the church he was speaking to would be just like Atlanta.
There's all kinds of crazy stuff because it was called Port City.
Yeah.
All the trade would go into Corinth. There's a lot of abundance, a lot of wealth because of the trade, but there's a lot of false gods. So Paul, whenever he's addressing them, he says, because Corinthians, one, they had this little backstory. They would go to their gods and they'd be possessed by whatever spirit was there, and they would begin to speak with tongues. And Paul was addressing something specific, saying it's not just about speaking in tongues. And he kind of addresses that throughout Corinthians. Corinthians is a long chapter, but there's something specific that he points out. And he says, if I speak with the tongues of men and of angels, but I do not have love. So he points out, he says, you can speak in tongues all day. But if you don't have love, the next thing he says is, I have become a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. You got some cymbals, noisy gong, this loud noise. If I have the gift of prophecy, because earlier he had spoken about tongues and prophecy. And he said tongues, you have a word in tongues, it's better to have a word of prophecy, which is good for the body. Word in tongues is for unbelievers. A word of prophecy is good for the believers. Appreciate you guys. If I have the gift of prophecy and know all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have all faith, if I have all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have all faith, so that as I can remove mountains, but do not have love, I am nothing. So a lot of times in our life, we think about like, speaking in tongues. A lot of people have problems with that. Prophecy. A lot of people have a problem with that. But Paul actually says this is like basic stuff. Like these are gifts. It doesn't have anything necessarily to do with love per se. If I have all knowledge and if I have all faith, I can even remove mountains, say to mountains go and they go, walk on water kind of stuff. Then I am nothing. So he puts the priority in the midst of all the gifts, love. Now we see that in another place with Jesus when we go to see him. There's a story of people that say, Lord, Lord, did we not do all these things in your name? Heal the sick, raise the dead, cast out demons. And he'll say, depart from me, for I never knew you. The word is yet die. It means to know intimately. I did not yet die you. I did not know you. And to know God is to know love. It's like what Nahim was saying. He was saying we're connected to God. And being connected to God, we're connected to love. Because God is love, the Scripture says. And that's one of the things that we're connected to. Yes, this love. We get filled with love. We are overflowing with love. But that same love that we receive from him, we also give. Love the Lord your God, the Scripture says, with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And then love your neighbor as yourself. It's honestly, when we go to God, he doesn't lack. So really what it is saying, it's like I go to God and then I get filled with who he is. And my love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, gentleness, self-control, faith, and goodness. And all these areas that are love. Bethany, if you'd like to read verse 3 and 4, maybe. Sure.
If I give all I have, and if I deliver my body to be burned, love, I gain nothing. Love is patient and kind. Love does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant.
So what it's saying there is, it's really qualifying all the worldly pursuits. In the Scripture, Jesus said, he says he was tested of the lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. The temptation of Jesus in the wilderness, he was tempted in those 3 areas. Lust of the flesh. If you are the Son of God, Satan says, he says, turn this stone into bread. Now, this is after 40 days of not eating. So, you're probably pretty hungry. But the enemy is kind of tricky. He's like, if you are. Of course he is. But Jesus didn't respond with logic. He responded with the word. And I take that as an aside. That's what we should do. So, lust of the flesh, like eating. Lust of the eyes. He says, he takes him and sees all these kingdoms, all the kingdoms of the earth. He says, I'll give you all these things. You'll bow down and worship me. Now, it's kind of one of those things like the enemy probably had them to give, that kind of idea, a principality of the air at that time, because this kind of get into the theory of the Bible, I guess, but Adam, whenever he sinned, he gave over his power to the enemy. And Jesus was withstanding that temptation, that same temptation that Adam had. So all the kingdoms of the earth, and Satan said, if you worship me, I'll give them to you. Okay, good. And pride of life, he said, he took him to the top of the highest building. It was actually a temple. And they're standing there. He says, throw yourself down, Jesus. Does not Scripture say that the angels will gird you up lest you cast your foot against the stone? And it's testing God, really. The only person that, Satan in his arrogance was saying, I am God in that sense, I'm testing you. But Jesus responded with the word, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of God. And the last one, it says, thou shalt not tempt the Lord your God. And on the second one, you shall worship the Lord, and him only shall you serve. That's what he said, I believe he said. So here we have this, we see Paul referencing these ideas of, if I give all my possessions, what is that? Pride of life. If I give my position in life, if I give my wealth, if I even give my lack, if I give my identity about the things that I have and the things that I do, even if I give all that away, which we see in Jesus, he gave it all away. But if I don't have love, it doesn't do anything. Like, we miss it. I can give, there was a story in the scripture about Pharisees and they went to give, and they gave a bunch of money, but they gave it very piously. Like, look at me give money, very pompously. But then there's a woman who gave all that she had. It was 2 mites. It's called a widow with 2 mites. And Jesus says, who do you think was greater? The widow with the 2 mites, the amount was small, but she gave all that she had. See, the Pharisees gave out of their abundance, but the widow gave out of her lack. Jesus says, she gave, but even that, if she didn't have love, it wouldn't matter. It would amount to something. It would mean something. But there's more, and that's what Paul is pointing to. That's what we're talking about, love. Now, love, what is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Oh, we're getting stuck in our head again. Don't hurt me no more.
That's not the one that you were singing last week. Or,
Oh, what was I singing last week?
it was What's Love Got to Do?
What's love got to do? Got to do? What you have to do, man?
We're going to do that so I can go back.
Oh.
And that's funny.
I got you. Let's go. Got the Nahim in the house again. All right, so lost my thought. What does love got to do with it? What's love got to do? So what we're talking about?
Love is God.
Huh?
Love is God. That's
God is love. That's what the scripture says. That's good. So yeah, this was a thought. Sometimes we've got this idea of culture kind of made this idea of love is really kind of mamby-pamby, sweet, really like it's affectation, it's feeling, it's stuff like that. Not that those things are not involved, but come on, just a little bit. Make this kind of like it. But we see love in this. And the scripture says, a good man may die for a good man. But who has ever heard of a good man dying for a bad man? And the scripture says, and yet, while we were yet still sinners, Christ died for us. He died for me. He died for us when we were in our lack, when we were sinners. He died for us. And he said, who do you know that dies for even a good man? It's not very likely. Somebody that's kind of mediocre. A great man, maybe. A good man, a bad man. Nobody's going to die for that guy. But Jesus says, when we were that bad man, he died for us. That is love. This is love. For God so loved the whole world that he gave his only begotten Son. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son. Whosoever believes in him should not perish but have everlasting life. He gave his Son. Now, if you have kids, if you have that chance, thinking about God, if you had to separate from your son, it'd be devastating. How much more God? Did he feel that connection, that thing that hurt, that suffering, that pain? So much so he had to look away. He looked away from his son because there was so much sin that had been put on him. But he had to. And even Jesus said, this is love. Nevertheless, not my will, let your will be done. Jesus said, I see what you're wanting me to do. And he says in John 17, I do believe, it's in the New Testament, right before he goes to the cross. He says, nevertheless, he says, if it is possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not my will, let your will be done. That cup was the cup of suffering. The suffering that he was going to go through at the cross. And he says, if it is possible, let it pass. But more than what I want for myself, I want what you want. I want what you want, what you desire. Because it's not about me. That is love. Love is the cross. Love is John 3:17. For God did not come to condemn the world, but that the whole world through him might be saved. See, what does love got to do with it? It's got everything to do with it. From beginning, Genesis 1:1. It's a love story. God is love. It emanates from his being. He is it. It's not like he can lack love. Everything that he does is love. There are other aspects of his character that we see in different situations, like his justice or his mercy. But he is love. It's like the sun is energy until it ceases, and even so much more God, because he will never cease. There's no end to God. You know, they say, the sun has like 7 billion. In 7 billion years, the sun will run out of energy. Whatever. I'm not going to be here. I mean, I won't be in this form. Whatever. Absent the bodies, be present with the Lord. But God exists forever. So it's like, he is love. It's not like he's love sometimes. He's love all the time. So everything he writes, we can see his heart, see his influence. So love is patient. We can, one Paul is saying, if all of the best of my life, if I give that away, but I do it so people look at me or think well of me or like me more. If I don't do it from love, that sacrificial, that caring for people, that wanting to do what is best for people. What does he say? Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And love your neighbor as you love yourself. If you don't love your neighbor as yourself, maybe you want to, maybe you try, maybe some things you can't do for yourself even, but you would want to. And sometimes the want is good, but it's like, if somebody says, I need food and clothing, but you say, go be warmed and filled, do anything for them, sketchy. If you can't do anything, that's one thing, but it's how would you want to be treated in that situation? And that's what God says is, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Or love others as you would love yourself. So we see the culmination of all these things, all these works that could be done. But he says, love is patient. God is love, so we can definitely say God is patient. It's like one of those math things in school. God equals love. Love equals patience. God equals patience. It was school things. Anyway, love is kind. Love equals kind. God equals love. God equals kind. We can see it just like that. Love does not brag and is not arrogant. Uh-oh, stepping on toes. Somebody just stepped on my own foot. You're not being arrogant or proud, boastful. Look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. I'm awesome. That's one thing to be braggadocious over the top. It's nothing to be. It's not. There's also balance. God gives us this balance of life. Not a balance. It's a strength. It's a truth. Humility is not thinking less of yourself, or let's see. It's not thinking less of yourself, but thinking of yourself less. It's not saying, "Oh, woe is me, little Andrew." No. It's actually the opposite. I know who I am as a son or daughter of God. My confidence is in the Lord. And he's not lacking anything. Why would I say that I lack anything? I don't lack anything. I'm not confused. I'm not thinking of myself. I'm not thinking less of myself. Because my goal, I can't afford to have any thought in me that he does not have about me. He's not confused or worried or tired or stressed. He doesn't think, oh, woe is me, or any of that kind of stuff. So just break that off out of the atmosphere. But it's thinking of ourselves less. It's not the focus of our life. The focus of our life is the Lord and then what he is doing. Nevertheless, not my will, but your will be done. Jesus was saying, I have a desire in me to live, or I don't know exactly, nevertheless not my will. Jesus was saying, God was saying, go to the cross. And he was saying, this is going to be painful. This is going to be suffering, sometimes. But in the midst of that, remember, it wasn't just suffering for Jesus. He received the kingdom in the midst of the process. And we hear, God works all things together for good. Anyway, so, does not brag. There's another story of King Nebuchadnezzar. And he had built a lot of things in his kingdom. And And as he built them, he said, look at what I have done. Look at what I have created with my hands. And an angel of the Lord came to him and said, if you continue to do this, I'm going to strike you down. Not strike you down, but he said, you'll have the mind of an animal. Your hair will grow out like the eagle's wings. Your fingernails will grow out like talons, and you'll eat the grass like a beast. And so it says a year went by, and he had built more things, and he said, look at what I have done, look at what I have made with my hands. And he was like, I told you. And then for 7 years, he was and he prophesied that he was going to be for 7 years. So for 7 years, he ate grass like an animal. His talons grew out. His hair grew out like an eagle's wings. And he had the mind of a beast. After 7 years, it's interesting what he said. He said, I'm great, but I know one that is greater. Basically, he says, I'm a great king, but I know one that is a greater king. He did not diminish his value, his view of himself in the midst of that. He acknowledged one that was greater. And that's us. So, love is patient, love is kind, love does not brag, and it's not arrogant. It's pointing to God. Yes, we are called sons. You know, one son came, and many sons will be brought to the kingdom, the Scripture says. So we receive love. God is love. Perfect love casts out fear. There's no room for it where love is, where God is. So help me to be full of you, God, so that all the other leaves. So verse 5, does not act unbecomingly. Whoops. Lord, forgive me. Unbecomingly. Rude. Does not act rude. It does not seek its own. It's not self-absorbed. It's not about itself. It is not provoked. Well, that's interesting. Doesn't get mad. Doesn't get angry. Wow. See, this is not easy. This is not easy. Like, oh, I have this feeling. I got a feeling. I feel so good. Oh my gosh. This person makes me. It's not a feeling. This is something you need God and grace for. This is empowerment. Does not take into account a wrong suffered. Isn't that right, church? Where's Mary? I thought she was coming. Did she come by and say hey to you? She loved you. I know. Uh-oh. What'd you do? Get something back? Okay. Oh, okay. You don't want to be talking. So 1 Corinthians 13, verse 6. Does not rejoice in unrighteousness, but rejoices with the truth. Uh-oh. Getting convicted here. Woo! You ever seen something bad and you're like, oh, I would have done the same thing. No, we can't rejoice in this. Yeah. Rejoices with the truth.
Yeah, she came back.
She did?
She said she come right back. She had to go do something like that.
Bears all things. Believes all things. Verse 7. Hopes all things. Endures all things. Let's go through that again. Bears all things. That's tough. We're just talking about this ain't easy. Believes all things. Hopes all things. Endures all things. If people lived this, we'd have a revolution. If people just did, help me, Lord, to do this. Woo!
I have a question.
I got an answer. I got a question too. Which one you want first? You want the question first?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jesus love you. That's the statement. That's bad. Alright. Love never fails.
But I do have a question though.
About love?
No, it's a question.
Well, let's wait till we get done. We're almost done. Love never fails. But at the gifts of prophecy, which he qualified earlier, at the beginning, they will be done away with. One day, alright, talking to everybody that's a cessationist and a deist, and all the gifts have gone away, the Calvinists and the gifts, but love never fails. But if there are gifts of prophecy, they will be done away. One day in heaven, there's no need for all the seeing that we see clearly. I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. So I kind of sing out often. If there are tongues, speaking in tongues, not tongues, well, we could reference similarly. That was kind of crude. That may have been under unbecomingly. I do apologize. But rejoices with the truth, bears all things, believe. Okay. If there are tongues, they will cease one day.
I'll be right back.
See, if there is knowledge, it will be done away. What do you mean? You're not going to know anything? One day you're not going to need to know that. Oh, well, we're going to have all knowledge. One, we're going to see clearly. We're going to have everything we need. See, a lot of people say, oh, tongues go away. Yes, go away, but what about knowledge? Are we supposed to be done with bricks? No cessationists, no Calvinists. We got to have brains. I'm just saying I agree with our, anyway, okay. For we know in part, we prophesy in part. We know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when the perfect comes, the partial will be done away with. One Paul's qualifying right now here as he sings small. Now what does it have to do with love? He references it again. He says, all these things related to love, if we don't love, the things that we do, like he's saying, do these things, but at the end of the day, if you don't love, it doesn't mean anything. This is a prerequisite. If you're not doing those things, well, you may not be loving, but not doing those things was never an option. That's the only conclusion. Is that yes, we do these things. It's normal. We know it will always be normal until Jesus fully reigns on the earth. But if I have not love, it doesn't do me any good. When I was a child, I used to speak like a child, think like a child, reason like a child. When I became a man, I did away with childish things. For now we see in a mirror dimly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, and then I will know fully, just as I also have been fully known. But now faith, hope, love abide. These three, but the greatest of these is love. So then again, on my little soapbox, one day, face to face. Of course, he's talking about himself. He died 2,000 years ago almost. But speaking of 1,800 something years ago. But he's speaking of the body. One day we will all be with him face to face. It's not going to be necessary. Now, in this imperfect form and this imperfect reality, it is necessary. Or rather, I would say, not to focus on the imperfection, but the perfection that is being manifest. It is coming. Now by faith, hope, and love. These three, but the greatest of these is love. At the beginning, he says, and know all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have all faith. So I can remove the nouns. So I have not love, and profits me nothing. One of the fruits of the Spirit. Oh, thanks. You awesome. Thank you. Bethany, you want one? Well, I can't volunteer. I don't know how to. I don't know. Do we have the food to digital converter? No?
Is that?
Faith, hope, and love. This is a baby Ruth. Baby Ruth. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you, Tricia. But he says, faith, hope, and love. Later he says, hopes all things. Love hopes all things. Faith, hope, and love. These three, but the greatest of these is love. So if anybody has any questions, comments, concern about the topic, and then we'll just open it up for general questions as well. Any thoughts? Remember, the Bible is a love story. God is love. Everything he does is love. We see other characteristics that he has, but he is love. There's no way for him to not be love. It's like the sun can't be anything else but the sun, but energy, but light until it ceases to exist. And God does not cease to exist. So God is love forever. Wherever we're at, whatever situation, it's not based on our performance. It is an abundance of things that he is. It is who he is. It's not based on us. So we can just spend time with him and receive that love. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. Until I receive that love, I'm aware, I'm sitting in his love. I cannot release it. So we love you and we thank you, Father. Any questions? Father, just thank you for this time studying about love. We thank you for let every word that needs to be heard, let it be heard. Every thought that you desire to be released, we release the angelic over this time. We just thank you for everything you do in us. In Jesus' name. Bless Bethany as she goes on her trip. Let her have fun, tons of fun, just an awesome time. In Jesus' name. Let her drive safely, get there and get back. In Jesus' name. Amen. What you got, Tricia? Do you have a question?
Do you believe once saved, always saved?
Do you believe in magic?
Yeah, I believe that.
The gathering or the game?
But she's still up there.
Yeah, she's on here.
Beck,
Bless you guys.
Beck.